Now let's see for the failed login. What I'll do is instead of using Ravi, I'll use a 3-letter word. As you know that 3-letter word cannot be used for login. There'll be a failed login. Okay. So when I debug from step, now let's see what happens. So my function call happens. It is putting the agent name and password, but 3 letters are not allowed. Now if you see that the if statement is saying this if flight reservation window exists, but since it doesn't exist, it will execute the else part. So it has executed the else part. The return value will be 0 this time. So again the else part of the action will be executed since the value of int val is 0, and failed login will be printed. So you just saw that how the communication between action and function is important. Two-way communication is important by passing the parameters from action to function and by returning the value from function to the action. So whatever I just showed it was communication between action and function. Similar communication can happen between two actions, from one action to another action, and also the communication between action and data table can happen. So in this way we make our script powerful as a whole. When these different objects communicate with each other, our script becomes more powerful. As I explained that this action is passing the values. Now what I can do is I can take Ravi and Mercury value from data table, okay, and I can pass this value to my function, which is reused again and again. So my function will take these values and it will say that whether it will return the value 1 or 0 based on successful login or failed login, and these values are returned back to the action, and from action it can be printed on the data table. Okay, so this is how the communication takes place, and at different points of time the inputs from the data table can be different. So if it is Ravi or Ravi Mercury combination, the login is successful. Next time it could be some other combination, for suppose RVI and Mercury, for which the login could be failed. So accordingly the messages will be displayed on the data table. So about functions and how they communicate with the actions. One more thing I would like to show is, instead of every time printing the message or displaying it on message box, what we can do is there's a inbuilt method in QTP. There's a reporter dot report event. You can see the report event over here. So report event is the method for reporter. So reporter dot report event, and then to give space. So you can see the by default the values are shown over here. I can use mic pass. This means to say that instead of what I showed is instead of showing successful login, I can show that my step has passed. That is, login has happened successfully. So I can use mic pass, okay, comma. In double quotes I can show the step number. Say for example step 02, comma, and then in double quotes I can write my message: login successful. And same for failed login, I can use reporter dot report event mic fail, comma, and in double quotes again either pass or fail, it is happening for the same step 2, and then I can write login failed. Say let's see how the pass statement works. I'm giving Ravi and Mercury as the input, and if I run this script, the script has ran successfully. Now nothing has been displayed since I'm not using the print or message box option over here, but when I open my test result summary, You can see a test result summary opens after every run. You will see passed 1 and failed 0. So earlier this wasn't displayed. So what reporter.report event does is it reports the event, QTP reports the event to the test result summary. So we'll have the status over here. So suppose instead of printing the successful or the failed message back to the data table or anywhere else, what we can do is we can have this test result summary and we can see the results over here. So when I open this tree, you'll see that step number 2, object step number 2, which we had already written. I wrote step number 2, right? This is displayed over here. Details, login successful, which I had typed, and result is pass since it was make pass, and it also displays the date and time when it was run. And if you see a green check mark over here, it says that the step has passed. So even this can be really helpful to if you see the test summary tree over here, you can it can be really helpful to find out the failed cases and the pass cases. So if the test would have failed, there would have been a red color cross over here. So when I run this now, let's see how the fail. I'm using RBI, that is 3-letter agent name, and when I'm running the script, let's see how it will run this time. So as you can see, the cross over here, and over here if you see, the result has failed. The passed is 0, the failed is 1, and when I open this tree, I can see where exactly the step has failed. Okay. So the reporter.report event reports the event to the test result summary. So this was just one combination of pass and fail which I had used. I can use these combinations again and again in the script. So every time I use this combination, what happens is the results, the failed status, it has failed only one time, right? Now suppose I use this reporter event in other parts of the script as well. So suppose the script even there it fails, so it will show the number of times the script has failed. So it will show the fail and for what steps. Okay, so by seeing the status, we can see the number of times the script has failed and the steps where it has failed, and it can also pass at times. And by opening the tree, you'll know exactly where the script has failed. So you can see the beneath the flight reservation.exist, that was our validation point. We see that the step has failed. Okay.